today. And maybe before I do anything else, we could start with a word of prayer. Could we have a volunteer to pray for us, please? Okay. Can you just pray for me?
I want to thank you, Lord, for each and every person. I want to thank you, Lord, for each and every person who is represented in this place. I pray, Father God, that whatever we shall discuss, oh dear Father, we shall put it into practice. I pray for peace in our country, oh dear Lord, praying, Father God, that may you take control over this nation. We thank you and we bless you, for it is in Jesus' mighty name we pray and believe.
Amen. Asante sana. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Henry Cheng. I'm the CEO at CARA. That's the Kenya Alliance of Resident Association. And we are happy to host you here this morning to talk about a subject that I know we are all very aware of and very interested to understand how we can be part and parcel of the solution. So we are here to talk about the role of communities and community organization towards protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers. Supposed to be with an S. I think many times people talk about Nairobi River, but we are talking about Nairobi rivers because we have more than one. And we are keen to see that we are doing initiatives and activities that can be able to promote issues of protection, issues of restoration, and just making sure that the rivers we are benefiting from the river as we also harness the opportunities that come with it. So this is our 109th bi-monthly talk series. As you know, we have these kind of forums across the country, and the whole idea is to provide an opportunity for engagement, for conversations, and for coming up with solutions to some of the issues, service delivery issues that we grapple with on a day-to-day basis in our neighborhoods, in our county, and in our country, so that we can be able to improve the quality of life wherever we are. So as CARA, we are keen to ensure that where you are living, you are organized in form of resident associations, and you are able to be in control or in charge of the issues around your neighborhood, so that you are part and parcel of the solution, and you can be able to have structured engagement with the government and other service providers, and ensure that you are living a life of dignity and you have better quality of life. So we appreciate all of you who are here. I know a number of you are active members of various resident associations, and we are happy with the work that you are doing in your estates, in your neighborhoods, and we certainly look forward to continue building synergy so that together we can be able to make a positive impact in our society. You all know that the issue of Nairobi River has been with us for many years, and I keep hearing, for those who have been in Nairobi much longer, those who are here in the 70s and 80s, they keep telling us that at one time Nairobi River was so clear that you could drink from the source, and it could be used even for domestic purposes. But over the years, this has been changing, and there are times when it has become so polluted that it became a danger to our lives. But again, we've had a number of initiatives in attempt to just make sure that we protect and restore the river. But the question has always been about sustainability, how sustainable these initiatives are. So we are here to look at how, as in our individual capacity, and in our capacity as resident associations and community organizations, we can support the whole idea or the whole initiative around Nairobi River restoration and protection. And it is quite good and quite exciting that we now have a full commission that was set up to specifically look at how we can be able to protect, to restore, and to make sure that the Nairobi River basins is actually being protected from any pollution and actually being managed in a way that is beneficial to us as a country and as residents in our various communities. So as community and community organizations, we are at times the polluters, and we are also the people who live along that corridor, and we certainly must take an interest in what is happening in our rivers, because these rivers, if you don't take an interest in what is happening in the rivers, I don't want to preempt what our speakers are going to talk about, so we put together a panel of speakers who are going to speak to us to this subject, and as always, we are looking forward to you, of course, listening to what they're saying, but also sharing with us your perspective, telling us what you know, telling us how you want things done, and also asking the questions that you wish our speakers to respond to. So as per the program, we are going to have remarks by Kara Chairman. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here in person. So Mr. Ephraim Kanake, who is a governing council member of Kara and Kara treasurer, will be able to read his statement and represent him. We are also going to have some brief remarks from Robertson Kabucho, who is the head of programs at Hansidel Foundation. And Hansidel is our partner in this initiative, and they've been with us for many years, and through their support, we've been able to provide this kind of platforms across the country and just educate and create awareness among the population in this country. And we appreciate that very much. We are also going to have a presentation from Mr. Sam Dindi, who is a director at Mazingira Yetu organization, and they've been actively involved on environmental issues, including cleanup of Nairobi River and other activities that support the aspect of restoration and protection of the river. So Mr. Sam is going to give us an insight from the community perspective, what communities can do and what is being done practically to support or to drive the agenda of Nairobi River's protection and restoration. We are also going to hear from Mr. Omar Silla, who is the Director, Regional Office for Africa at UN Habitat. UN Habitat is actively involved in initiatives aimed at supporting protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers. And of course, they also work in many other countries. So it will be interesting to hear what is happening in other countries in terms of best practices, but also most importantly, the plans that UN Habitat has to support activities around Nairobi River's protection and restoration. And lastly, we are going to hear a presentation from Dr. Pamela Olet, who is the chairperson of Nairobi Rivers Commission. And like I said, this is a commission that was established specifically to look at how we can be able to upscale or enhance conversation around Nairobi Rivers protection, and most importantly, how we can be able to build synergy among various partners so that we work in a coordinated way. I think one of the challenges that have happened in the past is that everybody wants to do something about the Nairobi rivers, so there's no coordination. And no, if we don't have coordination, then basically we are working at zero game, because if somebody is doing something small, another person comes and does a similar thing, at the end of the day, there's no direction in terms of where are we heading and what kind of impact do we want to create. So we trust and believe that the Commission will be able to provide that leadership and make sure that all the stakeholders, all the people involved are speaking with one voice and are moving in the same direction. Of course, she'll tell us more about the Commission and the plans in place and how, most importantly, they intend to work and partner with communities like us so that we can all pull in the same direction as far as issues of protection and restoration of the rivers are concerned. So thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a session where we interact, just for you to ask a question, share with us your perspective, and like I always say, nobody has monopoly of ideas or information. All of us can learn from each other, so you'll feel free at that time to share with us maybe ideas on what needs to be done to make greater impact. ask your questions, and even if there's something that you're already doing as a community in regard to the Nairobi rivers protection and restoration, you can share that with us at that particular time. So we hope to have that session, and then of course we'll close and go and attend to other businesses. So that's how we are going to flow this morning, and I trust that we'll be able to have a very educative and productive session. So we are on social media. Those of you who are social media savvy, we have a Twitter trend. We are having a hashtag Kara Nairobi Forum. That's the hashtag Kara Nairobi Forum. So if you want to tweet, you can go to that space and be able to do the tweeting. We also have live stream. Maybe we'll share the link later, so that those who want to have your friends or your neighbors or your partners who are not in this room but want to follow this conversation, you can share with them so that they can follow the same online. So without taking much time, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Mr. Ephraim Kanake to now read the statement from our chairman, Mr. Richard Nyaga. Karibu, Mr. Kanake. Yes.
Thank you, Henry. See you, Kara. Karibu wananishi wetu, na feel at home. Be ready to engage. As we get involved in this major debate and conversation, I am here to read the chairman's note, so that we can have a starting point and engage in terms of the conversation of protecting our rivers and the national challenge. So our guest speakers this morning, Mr. Sam Didi, Director Mazingira Yetu Organization, Mr. Ouma Saila, Director Regional Office for Africa, UN Habitat. Welcome, sir. Ms. Dr. Pamela Olet, Chairperson, Nairobi Rivers Commission. Welcome, and feel at home with the Kara and the residents of Kenya in this city. And our most valued members, partners and friends, members of the press, Ivini, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 109th session of the bi-monthly talk series, forum on the theme, the role of communities and community organization towards protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers. We appreciate our valued partners in this area. Hans Seidel Foundation, for their continued support that made this forum possible. Mr. Kavusho, please acknowledge our appreciation as you sit there. You have a moment here. No. We also appreciate our guest speakers, Karibu, and those who created time to come and be with us at this important forum, for without you, there is no forum. As you all know, rivers are a crucial natural resource in the world for all living things, both human and animals. And of course, the aquatic, the animals that live in the river themselves, the fish, they don't exist in Nairobi rivers. They are known to be a source of drinking water to people and provide home to a host of marine animals. Water from rivers is also used to support agriculture and recreation activities in various parts of the country. However, many rivers in our country today are at risk of becoming non-beneficial to human needs. This is mainly due to heavy pollution through indiscriminate disposal of waste and effluents from the industries, from very many activities, especially in this city. Some individuals and companies dump volumes of waste into the rivers without care. Nairobi rivers suffer the greatest pollution due to high pollution within Nairobi and the metropolitan areas within the Nairobi city itself and its environs. The Kajiados, the Murangas, the Thika, Kiambu, all those are our metropolitan neighborhoods. Heavy commercial and industrial activities within those areas pollute the rivers around here in a big way. There have been various or numerous attempts by various entities to clean the rivers, but the efforts have not been sustainable. The establishment of Nairobi Rivers Commission is a very welcome entity, body, that would be able to spearhead. And it gives, therefore, hope that sustainable measures to restore and protect Nairobi rivers will be realized. Kara recognizes and appreciates the mandate of the Commission to oversee the protection and restoration of rivers in Nairobi and the riparian ecosystem. We are aware that addressing the Nairobi rivers challenges in a sustainable manner is a collective responsibility and requires synergetic efforts by various all stakeholders. Communities and community groups are key stakeholders in this endeavor and must play an active role in a structured manner so that we can attain another level of clean water and rivers. Today's forum has been organized to provide an opportunity. This is the reason we are here. Today's forum has been organized to provide an opportunity for a conversation on what role communities and community organizations, those who do business here, those who reside here, can play towards the restoration and protection of Nairobi rivers. The plans in place by Nairobi Rivers Commission to ensure effective community involvement towards achieving the Commission's mandate. Understand the role of partners such as UN Habitat in regard to support for the protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers. Explore areas of collaboration between the Commission, partners, stakeholders in all ways, and communities. Get to know best practices that are in place in other parts of the world, other countries, among other issues. We have a great and competent mix of speakers that will enable us to get proper insight on various aspects of protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers. We invite all of you to actively listen and engage the speakers and also share your thoughts on how best we can address the issue of Nairobi rivers protection and restoration. On a separate note, we wish to inform you that preparations to host our 5th annual Resident Association's Excellence Awards is on course. We are currently accepting entries for the awards from resident associations across Kenya. If your resident association is yet to make an entry, please make sure they do so by Friday this week, 27th October 2023. We would like to celebrate and showcase the great work being done by resident associations across Kenya, and details of how to make entries can be obtained from the Secretariat of the Kara offices from our website. And the gala dinner for giving the awards will be on 8th December 2023. Please dialize and plan to join us. Thank you once again for creating time to join us for this forum, and we look forward to having a productive engagement. For the chairman, Kenya Alliance of Resident Associations, thank you. Wishing you a great opportunity to converse and engage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanake, for those opening remarks. Of course, we pass the regards from our chair, who is not able to join us this morning. And you've heard the remarks that is made about the session we're having here today. Just to re-emphasize that what the last statement that has been made is that we are closing entries for the Resident Association Excellence Awards this Friday. We have received a number of entries from a number of you, but I know some of you have not made entries because I know what most of you are doing in your neighborhoods. So we want to celebrate that, we want to showcase that. So if you are yet to make an entry as a resident association, we encourage you to use today, tomorrow, and Friday to make that entry so that we can be able to have you as part of the entries that will be considered for the awards. As it has been mentioned, we plan to have the gala dinner on 8th of December to celebrate the winners or those people who have made the entries. So please mark that in your diary. We'll provide more details in that regard. Entry, how to make an entry, you can either call or write to the office or go to our website. There's a section written awards. If you click on that, it will be able to give you the details on how to make an entry, the forms and all that. So please, we encourage you to do so, and let's recognize and celebrate the work you are doing in your respective neighborhoods. Like I said, we are also live on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube page, Kara Kenya, the YouTube page Kara Kenya, you'll see that we are streaming live. So you can share the link with those who are not in this room but would wish to follow what we are discussing this morning. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Mr. Robertson Kabucho, who is the head of programs at Hansidel Foundation, to make his remarks. They're our partners, and we're always happy to be with them. Karibu, Robertson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Robertson Kafusho. I'd like to take this chance to thank Kara through the CEO, Henry Ochieng, for giving us this opportunity to partner with you in holding this forum, which forms a critical part to dialogue on our ecosystem. I am here on behalf of the Hansel Foundation, our resident representative, who was not able to join us this morning as he is away. So over the years, this platform, together with Kara, has provided citizens in Nairobi and other counties with an opportunity to engage with a variety of stakeholders, such as in government, academia, the media, development cooperation, private sector, and civil society, to exchange views on pertinent issues. The Hansel Foundation, for those who could be interacting with our organization for the first time, is a German political foundation. Our work in Kenya through local, state, and non-state partners, such as Kara, focuses on the areas of democracy and good governance, youth and gender, and climate change adaptation. So the topic of today is also relevant to the work we do. And our office in Nairobi covers work in Kenya and in Ethiopia. World capitals take pride in their rivers. Today, our planet is experiencing unprecedented urbanization, and as our cities grow, so do the challenges they face. One of the most pressing challenges is the degradation of our rivers, which form the lifeblood of our cities. I believe that the power to save our urban rivers lies within our very own communities that actually thrive along those river banks. Urbanization has brought undeniable benefits, but it has also taken a toll on our environment, particularly in this case, Nairobi River, and we have been corrected that it is Nairobi Rivers. Instead of being a source of thriving aquatic life, beauty, and recreation, and I know this out of being at a source of a river in a city in Ethiopia called Abaminch, where all you do is pluck a leaf, a very wide leaf, and use it to draw water from a river and actually drink that. So instead of being a source of thriving aquatic life, beauty, and recreation, they have become victims of pollution, encroachment, and neglect. And I know this again from being at a part of a river, and in this case, Nairobi River, in one of the places that it passes through, where we were able, together with a team from our office, to stand on where the river is passing. The river is passing beneath, but what we are actually stepping on is trash. So trash has accumulated and formed a very firm slab of trash that you can actually stand, and kids can play football and other games on top of that, yet beneath it is where Nairobi River is passing. So the consequences are dire: polluted water sources, disrupted ecosystems, and diminished quality of life for city residents. But all is not lost. With initiatives like the Nairobi River Commission, the protection and restoration of the rivers can be achieved through the collective efforts of communities and community organizations, such as in raising awareness, advocacy and engagement, cleanup activities, sustainable practices, ecological restoration, education programs, monitoring and reporting of the activities that are taking place within those places. Protecting and restoring the Nairobi rivers is not merely an environmental concern, but it is a matter of public health, economic prosperity, and the well-being of current and future generations. In closing, the role of community and community organizations in the protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers is paramount. By working together, we can transform our city into a model of sustainability and provide a better, cleaner, and more vibrant environment for all. And that is my wish through the initiative that is spearheaded by the Commission. as per the unique characteristics of this particular forum, I hope we collectively achieve some actionable outputs that can actually be followed up on by yourselves as interested parties to this, and also to the members present here who represent key stakeholders in this particular topic. And therefore, I wish you fruitful discussions, and thank you very much.
Asante sana Robertson for those remarks. Yeah, so as you've heard from Robertson, we all want to see rivers that are beneficial to humanity, and then therefore we must all play our respective role to make sure that that is achieved. So having heard from Robertson, we want to go to our first presenter for this session, who is Mr. Sam Dindi, Director, Mazingira Yetu Organization. The reason why we have Sam in this panel is because as an organization, which is a community-based organization, they're already doing quite a bit on environmental protection or environmental sustainability. And they are doing quite some work in regard to the Nairobi rivers, cleanup, protection, restoration. And even as we talk about the role of community in protection and restoration of Nairobi rivers, it's good that we get to see what is already happening. What are some of these practical things that are already happening on the ground through communities? What are the challenges, for instance? What are the milestones that have been achieved? And how then can we be able to learn from these good initiatives? So Sam will speak to us from that angle and just give us a bit of insight on what they're already doing, and maybe what is it that is working, what is not working, and how can we learn from those kind of initiatives. So join me in welcoming Sam Dindi to the podium to speak to us. Karibu, Sam.
Okay, good morning, everyone. As Mr. Henry has elaborately introduced me, I'm Sam Dindi from Mazingira Yetu organization. So this is an organization that is based in Nairobi, and it was formed in 2012. The organization runs several programs, one being environmental education and communication, ecosystem restoration, solid waste management through Taka Nipato social enterprise, and also we're involved in specialized training. For the last 6 years, since 2017 to date, we have been involved in various
a clean and serene river Motoine originates from Dagoretti Forest, flowing down through Jamhuri Park to join the Ngong tributary.
We first of all started
in
with
Kibera
the restoration of Bondiri wetland.
From here,
back in
the river flows
2017,
eastwards into
2018.
Nairobi Dam through Nairobi West suburbs
And,
as Ngong
we
River,
did our level
and it
best
traverses the industrial area
with a few of
before
our
joining
friends.
Nairobi River below
And
Njiru
6 years
Shopping
later,
Center.
we've
Human
got a
behavior
vibrant
plays a
Bondiri
big
wetland in
part
Kikuyu.
in its pollution,
And also we helped in the
many
formation
of
of Friends
them
of
referring
Bondiri
to the
wetland.
river as Mtaro,
We also,
meaning
within
an open sewer.
later on we embarked
Such attitudes
in working
continue
in
to
the
degrade the
restoration of
river,
Nairobi River,
and efforts to restore it.
and we went to Korogosho.
Mazingira Yetu organization
working with
mobilized
Green
110
Solution.
young people
We
from
trained
the
them on various
13
aspects of
villages
restoring
of
that
Kibra
river.
sub-county
And
and
also
took
we
them
helped
through
in
a
the formation of
2-day training
Green
on
Solution
human-centered
organization,
restoration
which is also
of
doing
River
very
Motoine
well.
or Ngong Challenge.
Then we moved to Kibera. We have been working in Kibera since 2019. And we have been working with various organizations and groups in restoring that river through provision of sanitation services. And we have been able to work with the Ministry of Water and Sanitation in constructing of 19 ablution blocks that are being managed by 200 young people, and are providing sanitation services to 7,000 residents. And all these are reducing pollution of that river. Later on, we moved to Gedaraine in Kasarani, and we also did the same in training them on how to restore that river, and also playing a role in changing change of behavior. So that is basically what we have been able to do for the last 6 years. So from the 6 years, these are what we believe, or these are what we have been doing to ensure that our rivers in Nairobi are restored. Number one is we've had a robust environment education and communication. You cannot protect what you don't know. So first things first, when you go to an area, is to introduce an environmental education program whereby the residents are able to appreciate what they have. Most of the residents in Nairobi have never seen a clean river, and they refer to these rivers as mtaro, or an open sewer. So that mindset has to change, and it starts with the environment education. So we usually have a very vibrant environment education program whereby people now, once they understand what is entailed of them, is when you move to the next step. Because if you don't change the mindset and the behavior, then no matter what you do, it will only be in vain. It will be described as this project belongs to so and so. It doesn't belong to us. Number two, we have also been involved in a robust, sustainable solid waste management program through Taka Nipato Social Enterprise. We realize that our rivers, almost 60% of the waste in our rivers is solid waste. And this solid waste is something that is recyclable and can be able to earn an income to our young people and women. And it's what we have been able to do, and we are working closely with organizations like Vince Plastics, Park Pro, and many others in transforming this waste into an income-generating activity. Also, we are working closely with WRA and other organizations like NEMA in addressing solid waste challenge from the source. That is keeping in mind the Sustainable Solid Waste Management Act 2023 that mandates us to start managing our waste from the source. So we are moving from removing the waste from the river, we are now moving to the community. We are telling them that if you handle our waste from our homes, then our environment will become clean and our rivers as a whole. Thirdly, we have been involved in the provision of sanitation services. Most of our informal settlements and peri-urban areas lack toilet facilities. Most of the toilets are either directed into the river, or the manholes are so shallow that when they are full, they are released into the river. So we were able to present a proposal to the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, and it was accepted. And since 2019, we have been able to construct 19 ablution blocks in Kibra, starting from Kianda up to Lindi. These 19 ablution blocks have provided jobs to 200 young people who were jobless before. But as we are speaking today, they have got jobs. They're also providing, the toilet facilities have also provided dignity to the people of Kibra. Before, people could come and shower in an open space, and you can imagine how it feels like meeting your father or your wife or your children bathing in an open space, defecating in an open space where people are viewing it. It's quite shameful. So through these toilet facilities, at least around 7,000 residents are having a dignified toilet facilities. Our young people have got dignified jobs that they are proud of. So going forward, what needs to be done? One thing, we need the urban regeneration and physical planning of our informal settlements needs to come out clearly. In most of our meetings we go, we rarely see urban planners. A place like Kibra, Korogosho, or Mukuru, there are no roads. Roads are so few that even moving the waste from the river to where it's supposed to be, it's an impossible task. Number two, we need us as residents, we need to accept where we reside is home and not a transit area. Most of us have not accepted that where we are staying here is our home. We are seeing it as an area that at a certain point X, I'll move to Runda. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Where I am is my home, and I need to take care of it. So we need to accept where we are. Number two, we need to accept that our actions and inactions have got an impact to the environment. When we do nothing, our rivers will be polluted. When we do something, our rivers will be cleaned and the environment as a whole. So we have got a role to play. Don't do nothing, but do something. Number 3, we also seek support from relevant authorities, like say the county governments. Like for example, last week, we have been evacuating waste from River Motoine in Kibra. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, the non-recyclable waste has never been collected from where it was collected, it has been put. Reason being, there are not enough lorries and buckles. So we need, the relevant authorities need to have enough equipments in order to make the restoration of these rivers a success. Number 2 is the community-based organizations, the communities are so willing to clean and restore our rivers, but we lack that support. Yeah, we lack that support. We are not vaccinated. We don't have tools. We don't have equipments. We are doing it out of the love of our community. But that final support from the people who are relevant has been missing for many years. For example, access to toilets. You may find in an area, people don't have toilets. We have petitioned our county governments, we have petitioned who and who in this country, but these facilities, they come at the mercy of the people who are in power, and it's not the case. Our constitution provides us the right to access to clean water and sanitation, but it is still a mirage. Also, we are asking the private sector, the manufacturers of these various products that are polluting our rivers. We are now having the Sustainable Solid Waste Management Act. We have got the EPR, the Extended Producer Responsibility, whereby these producers are supposed to take care of these packaging materials after they have been collected. They need to come out and play that role. We cannot be collecting the waste for them. We get peanuts. When you go to sell those materials to the recyclers, you are given like a token of appreciation. Your work is never appreciated, yet you toil from morning to evening, and it's quite discouraging. You cannot be able to do this day in, day out. So we need to have a humane heart. Without the community, then our rivers will never be clean. Even if you bring what kind of consultants, if the communities are not in the driving seat, are not at the table, if the issues are not looked into, then our exercise will be in futility. That's all that I would like to say, and I'm very grateful for this session, Mr. Henry. We met Mr. Henry for the first time in 2019 for such a forum, and also met Mr. Robert at such a forum, and it was an eye-opener. We believe that next time this forum, let us start holding it in our estates. Let us hold the next one in Kibera, in Korogosho, in Mukuru, so that people can understand the meaning of an association. As you have said, people need to make the applications, but people in the slums may find they're not in these associations, and yet we've got people who are doing a lot there. So I believe next time, let us have the next session in a place like Kibera or Korogosho. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Sam, for those insights and for the wonderful work you are doing through Mazingira Yetu organization. At least you've shown us that it's possible. It can be done. It can be done through self-drive from communities. And I think we've been able to achieve quite a bit for the short time that we've been working on a number of initiatives. And yes, we need to look at how we can pull together and support the work you are doing, but also learn from it and see what kind of lessons we can draw, and also do similar things in our respective neighborhoods. Most of us, a number of us live along the river corridor, and we certainly can be able to make a contribution. And even if we don't live along the corridor, we have a responsibility. Even in the spirit of environmental protection, we have a responsibility to make sure that we are protecting the rivers. So Sam and his team have been on the ground, And you've heard the things they've done, you've heard the challenges they are going through, and the expectations that they have. I know that some of us who are in this room who could be able to step forward and even provide one support in one way or the other. So we hope that that can happen. So having heard from some and from the angle of what communities can do and are doing on the ground in regard to what we are talking about today, we want now to hear from Mr. Omar Sila, who is Director at UN Habitat at Regional Office of Africa, just to share with us perspectives from UN Habitat and maybe what other countries are doing right, so that you can also be able to learn from that. So please welcome Mr. Sela to the floor.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Henry, and thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to come this morning here on this the monthly talk series, which is an opportunity, of course, as I can see it already, to exchange vision, knowledge, but also for us as United Nations, I'm seeing an opportunity for fostering partnership and developing synergy around critical issues, whether it is urbanization or other related matter we're going to discuss today. I think 2 weeks back we were here, and Pamela will tell you, with development partners to discuss about this Nairobi River vision and how to strengthen and foster collaboration. I think this topic you brought today, Kara, talking about the role of communities and community organization, is fundamental for me as UN Habitat, because we believe that communities is the first users of this river, but at the same time first actors of this Nairobi River, which means that when it comes to benefit of this river, whatever situation is the river is, the first one to feel the consequences will be communities along this Nairobi River. And we all notice, the situation upon which today this Nairobi River is, and which is quite ringing the bell, and a lot of concern, but also a lot of initiative on how we can improve the living condition along the Nairobi River. Those who doesn't know UN Habitat, we are based here as our global headquarters. I think you have only 2 United Nations agencies who have their global headquarters in Nairobi, which are UN Habitat and UNEP. We are so blessed and grateful to be here in Nairobi, because Nairobi as well is one of these country which is going through this rapid trend of urbanization, which is quite, giving a lot of experience, but also for us, a laboratory to test our tools and our approaches in terms of planning, in terms of improving living conditions, in cities, which means that for us, the conception we have of Nairobi River is to insert it within the urban fabric, because as you may see it, of course, Nairobi River is 58 kilometers from one to second to another one, but crossing, the Nairobi cities, as you may see, the CBD, which is quite, a facet of the cities which can be affected, by the condition of the Nairobi River. And I think today we all feel a bit shame by passing and seeing the status of this Nairobi River. That's why for us as United Nations, it's our responsibility, but also we feel a bit, touched by this issue we are discussing. That's the reason when they invite me, I do not hesitate to come and make our point and share our contribution on how we can best work to improve, this Nairobi River and make it livable, but also to transform the face of Nairobi. So we have seen this jacaranda blooming, and we see as well as this beauty of Nairobi, but how to connect the Nairobi River in terms of tourism and attractivity, with the rest and the richness in terms of culture and diversity of the cities. As long as UN Habitat is concerned, I think we have been involved with early stage on this process, of Nairobi River. Even when I joined 4 years back, I found my team busy, on data collection, but also developing this stakeholders approach, working with communities, to develop the building block for the transformation of Nairobi River. Of course, this is something which is in line with our vision as UN Habitat. If you look at many SDGs, I think the Nairobi River issue is sitting on target, SDG 11, of course, but 17, we need partnership, but also looking on clean water, which is SDG 6. So we see the global dimension of this Nairobi River when Henry was talking about our global experience, so which means that today we need to look at as well what are the best practices. But through our Nairobi, we have a project called Nairobi River Regeneration, which has been developed jointly with many stakeholders, including UNEP, and which is quite, provocative in a way that we want to see how to shift that paradigm and how to shift the narrative. I think we have done a lot, in the past, as mentioned by Henry, but how efficient was those intervention? And that's the reason why today we are happy to see the Nairobi Commission established to play the role of coordination, alignment, and synergy, but also creating an opportunity to take stock what has been done in the past and how best we can project ourselves on that. And first element which is fundamental on that is the aspect of data. And I think we work a lot on data collection, trying to understand what is the source of pollutions in the Nairobi River. And on that, I think we identify more than 100, source of pollution from the industrial area to the informal settlement, which is quite, a concern, as mentioned by my predecessors. We did as well a stakeholders mapping, which is a reason why I think it's important to talk about the role of communities to better understand role and responsibility for each of the actors, what they are doing, what are their strength is, and what are their weakness, but also what are the gaps is about, which means that today this multi-stakeholders partnership is important, and also of society approach need to be established to develop, a very strong, partnership, but also a very strong structure for the transformation of Nairobi River. UN Habitat has also worked on capacity building, on knowledge sharing. I think this is something we are good at, because for us, getting the right skills, the right institution is fundamental. And today, I think we need to federate all our effort around this Nairobi River Commission with our tools, our approaches to help her, drive this process. And so the vision, which is, in the heart of the new administration, and which is an opportunity in terms of political engagement. So in addition as well, UN Habitat has led the redesign of Key Street. I think somebody talked about it when he was talking about access and the need for urban planning and urban regeneration. While we look at, the quality of water, waste management, also the circulation and mobility is fundamental. And in our design as well, even in our vision of the Nile River, we see an opportunity of increasing and improving mobility along the Nile River. And when it comes to mobility for UN Habitat, it's not just talk about, car and matatu, but it's about talking about those non-motorized transport system. Cycling, it is important, and those who are walking as well. We want to make it walkable, this Nairobi River, because if you go to others country, like Dubai and others, at 6 in the afternoon, you see people how they enjoy the beauty of the water's front, which means that that's something we are working on that in the Central District as well. We are working with the city of Nairobi to improve mobility and circulation of people. And this as well will contribute in reducing, pollution and reducing carbon system in the cities. And we are happy to share this vision with the governor of Nairobi, which is working hard to create a non-car zone in the CBD for people to be able to enjoy the quality of air and life. So today we are proud to associate with Nairobi River Commission, as I mentioned it, in which UN Habitat actively support the government toward its formation, because we contribute to the formation with our data, with our institutional skills and others. And we are delighted to continue to support Nairobi River Commission, which is quite, for me, an important tool, an important instrument that we need to strengthen to be able to support, to reach our goal. And our collaboration with the Nairobi River Commission is about bringing more partners. Recently we brought some from Netherlands-based organization called, to build capacity, and also in terms of resource mobilization as well. We are trying as much possible to link the Nairobi River with donors, with development partners here and outside the country, which is quite an important piece, because we need the money as well to be able to realize this vision. The role of communities, of course, is fundamental, as mentioned early, because you are the one which is a frontliner, of this battle. This one is the battle for me, because we have to have the energy, the resilience, and the will necessary to be able to really get to the point where we want to be. That's why community, connecting with the river and protection and conservation and all those activities communities are undertaking, which is about clean up of riverbank, curbing pollution, and we have seen fundamental and very interesting work being done by our colleague in terms of mobilization, but also in terms of cleaning up. So for us as UN Habitat, we need to continue strongly advocating the integration of community in all initiatives in the river. And this is one condition. Pamela will tell you our condition for engagement. We need to feel, this community that they are involved, at all stages of this transformation of the Nairobi River, and to ensure as well UN Habitat will engage, with community. And we have a project that a small project we are implementing. And I'm sure, colleague will come back to you. We are working with many communities on the implementation of this, small project. So our work in river management globally is well documented. As I mentioned, UN Habitat is a global agency sitting here, and we are working in many countries on the same subject matter: water, sanitation, river regeneration and basin. And on that, we collaborate with China. And recently we have a publication I would like to put at the disposal of Kara, which is about, river basin in Ghana, Lake Victoria basin, which is quite a comparative studies on how to manage those river basins and how we can learn from this experience for Nairobi river regeneration as well. Which means that in terms of research, in terms of data analysis, I think a lot has been done. I think those are some elements I want to share, here, and just to express our commitment as United Nations to continue working with the government of Kenya, but also with actors on the ground to really advance this agenda and to make sure in the coming years, as mentioned by our colleague Henry, we'll be able to transform the face of Nairobi, but also, as mentioned, the role of communities and grassroots organization is fundamental. We cannot make it without you, and we should make it together if you really want to move this agenda. Again, thank you very much for your attention, and sorry for not coming with a structured presentation, but next time, if required, I can bring my technical team just to make a deep dive presentation on our work in the Nairobi River. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar, for those very useful highlights. Actually, what you've said is sufficient enough, because we've had quite a bit of insight on what UN Habitat is doing and also what other countries are doing. We'll be happy to get that publication about Ghana so that we can also just have a chance to look at it and see what we can learn from that. So UN Habitat is a very strong partner in Kenya. They are actually also one of our biggest supporters as Kara. We are partnered with UN Habitat in an initiative at the coast under the Go Blue Economy project, where we are mobilizing community voices to be strongly heard in the Go Blue conversation. So we are doing a number of activities with support of UN Habitat in Kilifi, in Mombasa, and even Hola in Tana River. And we appreciate that kind of partnership and support. So ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from our two speakers what the community is doing, what development partners are doing, and the plans they have in place to make sure that they provide the necessary support. And you've heard Omar has specifically mentioned that they have a plan to ensure active involvement of communities in various initiatives and various activities, of course, through the Nairobi River Commission. And as Kara, we are keen and ready to get involved, of course, through our resident associations and other people that we work with to make sure that we are supporting this initiative. So having had those two very insightful presentations, we now want to hear from the Nairobi Rivers Commission, which was established to specifically look at this agenda we are talking about here today. And I know they are fairly new, it's a fairly new commission, but I know they also have very comprehensive plans on how they want to tackle their mandate and the agenda that they have. So Dr. Pamela Olet is the chairperson of Nairobi Rivers Commission, leading the team, and she's been able to make some inroads in terms of laying out the plans on what they want to do. But today we just want to hear from her what perhaps the mandate of the commission is, what the plans are, how we can work with the commission as community leaders and community organization, and the kind of plans in place, particularly to ensure better coordination as far as addressing issues of Nairobi Rivers is concerned. Like I said earlier, I think one of the weak points has been uncoordinated approach to addressing the challenges of Nairobi Rivers. But now with the commission in place, we hope that one of the things they'll be able to look at is how to bring every stakeholder on board and make sure that they work in a coordinated way. So ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the chairperson of Nairobi Rivers Commission, Dr. Pamela Olet. Karibu, Daktari.
I'm Dr. Pamela Olet, chairperson, Nairobi Rivers Commission. I appeal to all the residents of Nairobi and Nairobi Rivers Basin, the leadership of Kara, to representative of UN Habitat, Omasila, and to my friend Samdindi Masingira, and to the residents of Nairobi, good morning. I'm very happy to be in this room, at least to have a discussion on how we can return Nairobi to be the place of cool waters, which is supposed to be. So we don't have answers. We've come to discuss and get a good way forward on how best we can return Nairobi to what it's supposed to be, so that we enjoy life, because life is supposed to be enjoyed. We are not supposed to be suffering. So what we are experiencing is punishment by nature. So we have to discuss on how we return to nature so that we can enjoy life. And on this, I want to thank His Excellency the President, Dr. Samuel Ruto, for the wisdom in creating Nairobi Rivers Commission. This is so important because, I mean, we have been in this river before many years. So much money, so much energy has gone into this river in terms of restoration initiatives. But why is the river in its state, which it is now? That means there's something fundamentally wrong with the approach we have been using to regenerate the river. We have the passion, but something is missing. So that's something which is missing. It is what we want to discuss. Maybe not conclusively today, but it's a conversation we need to take forward so that we can enjoy the life that we are supposed to. And this is the wisdom that has created a coordination unit. His Excellency, the President, gazetted the Nairobi River Commission on 2nd of December, 2022. And the launching of the commission was in 22nd of February, 2023. Some of you, like Kara, were represented in that launch. And in his wisdom, with the Deputy President, the governance of the Nairobi River Commission, the commission itself is domiciled in the office of the Deputy President. For me, this is significant in showing the goodwill that the presidency has in the regeneration of the river basin. Below that, we have the 9 commissioners, only 8 are functional. With the secretariat, for now, it's a secondary secretariat. We are developing a structure where Kenyans will be invited in the recruitment process to have the quality, to have the competency that is necessary to drive the river regeneration. So that structure is almost done. We've had engagements with the Public Service Commission to help us in having a structure that can deliver the vision that the presidency has. The commission is also guided by a structure called the advisory group. The advisory group is comprised of the commissioners themselves. We have the representatives of the UN systems, especially UN Habitat, UNEP. We have the World Resources Institute, that is a subsidiary of the World Bank. We have the private sector. And private sector, we mean we have KEPSA in the advisory group, we have CAM in the advisory group. And I believe that is the structure where most of us will fit when we talk about the private sector. We know we have the civil society in it, we have the academia in it, but I must confess that we need to converse on how best to coordinate the stakeholders. As was mentioned by the CEO, we are a young institution. We are trying, but I am convinced that we have not done our best in coordination. And your contribution in this, CEO, will be very significant to the Commission. I may ask, how many of you, as a community, attended the meeting that was held yesterday at the Commission's offices? None. Two. So at least we are, one is a member of the Secretariat, so I'm not counting that one. So it's only one. So that shows you that there's something more that we need to do. And probably many of you live in Kileleshwa, maybe that's why you missed. But I think there is a perception that, why I'm mentioning this, that when we are talking about communities, we are only thinking of the informal sector, which is not correct. Communities are communities. So this segmentation of communities, I think, is an area that we will need to look at as we move forward. In terms of coordination, it is an area that probably could make us not succeed if not properly handled. But I think all that we are saying, that the environment is good, the goodwill is there, and what we expected from us is to foster coordination of all our initiatives, because that is what missed. People worked in silos, and eventually it was not sustainable. So the structure that is being created is to foster coordination in the restoration, in the rehabilitation, in the beautification, in the investment in the river basin. So my appeal to all of us is that, can we look at the opportunities that exist in the river basin? And we are saying, when we are talking about Nairobi rivers basin, sometimes it is misleading because of the word Nairobi. Actually, this phase is covering 5 counties. We have Kajiado, Kiambu, we have Nairobi itself, we have Makueni, we have Machakos. You know, the poison we are generating in Nairobi is what is being consumed in the lower streams in Makueni and Machakos. So we have it's a social justice issue. Really, do they deserve that? But all in all, we are saying no one is safe. Because I know many of you are practicing, those who live in the upper catchment area and the lower catchment, they are involved in agricultural practices. We are all consumers of those leafy vegetables, those sweet, good-looking tomatoes. So no one is safe because these things are finding their ways into our supermarkets. So all we are saying that we are all involved. It is not just an issue of those who are living in the river basin. That basin alone, with those 5 counties, it is estimated to be about 390 square kilometers. If we take that land in terms of investment, even if it's agriculture alone, how much can we produce in food security? But modern agriculture that is not polluting. So all that we are saying as the Nairobi River Commission is to look at the opportunities that exist. We've had engagements with various agencies of the government, non-government, And as was mentioned by Omar Sila, in this room we had a roundtable conference with our partners, and I can confirm that the goodwill is there. If the communities are well organized, for me this is an opportunity for these partners to support our communities in the various activities that are identified as opportunities in transforming lives. The Kenya Council of Government, we have those 5 pillars. All of them are relevant in the river basin. All of them. We have the opportunities to form circles that can be supported by government. Because you've been in this space longer than me, so you know the opportunities that exist in the circular economy. That is a pillar that can transform the lives of our residents along the river basin. We have issues of energy. Are we able to support, let's say, Nairobi as a county? We increase water availability to our people. The river basin is offering us that opportunity. We have opportunity to use the river basin for early warning system for diseases through wastewater surveillance. The communities have a role in this, and a big role, working with the institutions that have partnered on this aspect. So we can actually prepare for diseases by just using the river, the water in the river. So I'm trying to bring the issue of the river basin is a public health issue to all of us. We have very many opportunities in the river other than recreational activities. The river has a very big potential in job creation. So I want us to look at cleaning of the river as a very small aspect of the river regeneration, but the investment opportunities that we have in creating the green spaces, in benefiting from the green and blue economy through the carbon credits. We have the opportunities of connectivities once the river is clean, connectivities of the green spaces that are created. We have opportunities in providing energy, including hydro. What do we do with our water during floods, the storm water? Are we able to store this to avail more water to our people? In sustainable cities, what is the role that we can play in building Nairobi as a resilient city? There's a lot in terms of urban development. What is the role of us as residential associations in influencing the type of residences that we should have? Bonasio, I have an issue with landlords. Why are we having slums developing in high-end residential areas? Probably there's a policy issue that we may need to look at. Because if our residences have all the infrastructure that we need, but the people that work for us are living in the condition you are seeing them in, for me this is an indicator there's something that we need to do more beyond what we are doing now. So, because when you create these informal settlements, that means we are promoting polluting agents, because these people don't have the required infrastructure for solid and liquid waste management. So what is our role in building these sustainable settlement areas? Opportunities are existing outside this country, including the nearest place in South Africa. What are they doing in slums in terms of settlements? I'm bringing out all this because the Commission with the stakeholders have developed an action plan. An action plan, I don't have the opportunity to present the whole plan for you here, but through Kara, you will have the opportunity to share the action plan, where we have We have identified the technical areas, and cross-cutting issues are bunched separately. Like protection of our catchment areas. Protection of our catchment areas, we all have roles to play in terms of greening, in terms of water quality, and in terms of many other things, not an encroachment in those areas, so that we protect our water towers. What role are we going to play as communities in this? We have, of course, the riparian, which is a very sensitive issue because some of us have really very wonderful houses in those areas. But is demolition the solution? Can we find a solution that is not destructive to our economy? Are there innovations outside there that we can use and integrate when we are managing our riparian? This is a conversation. I may not have an answer now, but I think it's an area that will require a conversation between us and Kara going forward. Because we know people have had different theories and demolitions have been attempted before. But is it a solution? Maybe not. But I think I would want to call on us to be part of the solution. That is going to help us build sustainable, resilient structures that promote partnerships that are critical for Nairobi River's regeneration. I have tried to identify areas which all of us could be involved in. That is, we have the opportunity to provide adequate shelter, which is not polluting. Through CAM, through KEPSA, can we have a conversation with the manufacturers, with the industrialists, on how we can stop industrial effluence into our rivers? Having interacted with the international and local partners, solutions actually do exist. Because if you are looking at big trunks that will take us millions of years to construct, we will never provide infrastructure enough to stop pollution. And yet, for the river quality to improve, we must stop pollution. So we have that opportunity to improve our management through the structures that we have. We have land use plans. Each county has a land use plan. How are those plans supporting the river regeneration in terms of buildings, in terms of waste management? These are conversations we are having with counties, and this is why all the 5 counties are part of the advisory group, so that we don't treat them as just stakeholders, but they are part of the advisors of how we move as a commission, so that we can, in general, discuss all these issues in an area-wide approach, whether it is sanitation, is drainage, solid waste. What we are discussing in Nairobi is what Machakos is discussing. And then monitoring becomes easy. So the structures we are creating in the commission will include monitoring beyond Nairobi as a county. We have opportunities to generate energy. I know there is talk on Dandora dam site. I want to believe that Kara will not be left out in the solutions that are going to provide solutions to what we call 2 catalytic projects. That is the Dandora dam site and the Nairobi dam. Some of you probably visited the Sailors Club in Nairobi dam. We need to have a vision of having what we used to have. Those who used to swim in the river, we need to go back there. So that means those 2 catalytic projects of Nairobi Dam and Dandora Dam site are very key to the river regeneration. So I am inviting all of us to create interest in what happens in that space, because those 2 will inform the direction that we take in regenerating the Nairobi River Basin. Investment opportunities are enormous. In another phase, that is probably after 7 years, because we have faced the river regeneration and taking it to 2050 for those who will be there. We are looking at what is happening in the rest of the world, and we are convinced that it is doable. We can regenerate, we can have glory in this city. We can take pride in having regenerated the city. But only if we use what my friend Sam was saying, mindset change. Mindset change. We have enforcement agencies, but things are not working. Kenyans, when we live here and the moment we land in Heathrow, we do exactly as they do. So what is wrong with that? Something needs to change in the way we are doing things. And for me, what Sam is saying probably is the biggest assignment that we all have. How do we change our mindset so that we don't wait for enforcement agencies to come as well? Can it be a culture? Then life becomes very easy when that becomes our culture. So public education awareness will be key in whatever we are going to implement, coordinated, and of course enforcement as a last resort. As a commission, in the structure we are developing, there is a unit which we are calling the Joint Action Unit. It will be a monitoring unit. And this unit is not just for NRC Secretariat. Our key stakeholders, be it NEMA, be it Nairobi Waters, be it Athi Waters, they will all be in this joint coordination unit. It will be a 24-hour unit, but comprised by all of us represented. I am seeing a role for the communities in terms of, other than those other activities we have mentioned, but there is reporting. Communities can be the inspectors of this river basin through a structure. They can be the monitors. So the reporting, 24-hour reporting, is going to have a lot of community reporting. But I think they will have to be structured so that we know who are the reporting units along the river basin. For me, I am seeing the role of the communities, even in the joint reporting unit that NRC is creating. When I see you, if you allow me, I may want to stop there so that we can have more questions. This is our first time to interact with the resident association. But just to summarize, we have opportunities in creating waterfront markets and developments. We have opportunities in affordable housing for our settlement communities, informal settlement communities. Because when we integrate affordable housing, we have the opportunity to manage our solid and liquid waste. Because our aim is to stop polluting the rivers by providing good settlements. As Sam is saying, we return dignity to our people. We have the opportunities to use the river in constructing urban wetlands. We have green corridors. We have urban water reservoirs. We have wastes to energy, waste to agriculture through fertilizers. Opportunities are enormous. So can we create jobs for our people? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for those very useful remarks and sharing with us what the Commission has in store and how we can work with you. I think you've mentioned very many good things, which I can't go through, but I like the fact that there's already an action plan in place. And of course, I am sure that the action plan talks extensively about joint efforts with communities. So we'll be happy to just go through the action plan and see how we can actively get involved in a number of activities that have been planned. Issues of land use planning, I think we can't emphasize that more. Most of the problems we are facing in this city and in most urban areas is around planning, because poor planning then leads to poor management of things like waste. Of course, education and awareness, again, that's part of the reason why we are here today, just to learn, to educate each other, and make sure that we understand what our role can be, or what our role should be in supporting this endeavor. And we are happy to continue doing that particular role. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from our distinguished speakers. They've given us various perspectives of the subject of discussion today. Of course, mostly revolving around what you as a community leader or as a resident in wherever you live can do to support initiatives around the river's protection and restoration. Like I said, the idea was to have this interaction and get all of us to understand that we do have a role to play, and this is how we can play that role, just like is already being done by Mazingira Yetu organization. We can do that in our respective spaces and neighborhoods. So this is a time when we also want to hear from you. Having heard from the speakers, we also want to hear from you on what your thinking is. If you have a question to shoot to any of the speakers, please do so. You mentioned the speaker you want to answer. And as always, we always want to give opportunity for as many of you as possible. And that can only happen if we are very focused in our question. You take a minute or so to direct your question so that you don't have to take much time with one person. So when you get the chance, as always, please, if it's a question, make it quick and direct. If it's a comment, make it brief so that others can have an opportunity to also engage. So with that, let me see who has a question or a comment to ask to our speakers or to engage our speakers. Starting from this side as we go. I can see a few hands here. So tuanze hapa mbele tukienda hivyo. So you mention your name, your organization if any, and then the person you want to respond. If it's a comment, just make your comment, please.
Okay, thank you very much, CEO, Mr. Henry Ching, and our participants. My name is Jenga Kamuyo. I come from the Dagoretti Association, Welfare Association. My comments and an actual question, a question. One goes to Mr. Dini. He did mention about a mindset, and listening to him already, I doubted whether also he has changed his mindset. He did say that about the kind of appreciation they are given is just a token of appreciation. Going back in some years, you can see I have got white hair. We used to, if you found a car stuck, you could assist and push without asking anything. Today, before the young men do that, they ask you, say, how much do you have? Let them yambili. Now, unless we change that we are not doing for an income, then we shall never get anywhere. But what you are doing is already good. I do appreciate that. I come from a place just near Renana School, and one of the streams, Kericho Kubwa, comes from there. And we used to fish and get some fish in the 60s and 70s from that stream. Today, even there is no stupid mosquito which can lay its eggs there, because it is not water, it is black sewerage water which is going in. Now, I don't know what plants is there, because I heard your job, you have started from downstream. And ukitaka kufaulu wanasemaga anzia juu. So the plans of cleaning up these rivers should start from the top, from Kiambu, then you come down. Because if you start enlightening people from from Makueni, how to clean up the river, they'll be cleaning already the dirt which is being put from the upstream. So my suggestion is that once we start on this, we go to Kiambu, Gong, and those areas where these waters actually come from, and we start cleaning up from there. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Next to you, there's a lady.
Good morning. I believe it's still morning. My name is Majani Emma from Kilimani. Mine is very simple. Even as we have a conversation around waste management, let us establish garbage bins of areas where people walk. I like taking walks, runs, and sometimes I find myself, maybe I have a sweet in the pocket and I have a wrapper, I eat the sweet, I hold the wrapper. I can walk I reside in Kilimani, from Yaya, go down Status Road, come up Strathmore, go up to Junction, come back. I'll hardly find a bin to throw my sweet wrapper. So maybe we urge the stakeholders involved, the county government, to establish bins around. We have very good walking paths, very good running paths, but we don't have bins to throw our waste here. So if we can't manage waste from that simple point, waste management as a whole will not be effective.
Thank you for that comment. Yeah,
okay, thank you. My name is Shafiq. I attended also the previous presentation that was done by Kara regarding the DG who came here and told us that the first aquifer in terms of the borehole water that we fetch is already dry. We are on to the second one. The challenge is not only just the river cleaning, but even in terms of planting more trees, because whenever there's a development, it's the trees we are cutting down first. So my challenge to you is that how do you preserve what we already have instead of trying to say that we are going to build on something new? The plans are all good, but I think we need to also take care of what we already have and what is good. Secondly, where I stay, there used to be one bungalow, now there are 81. It's all Cabro. That means whatever the rain that was going down on the soil is no longer going down there. We have one outlet where all the water goes, somewhere disappears. I want us to come up with a strategy on how we can rain harvest, fill up those aquifers again, and also in terms of soil creation. If you look at any construction site, the topsoil is always taken and dumped somewhere. Like the Chinese, when they did a construction, they took all the topsoil and took it back to China. We have so much good stuff, we are just wasting it. If there is a way to control the waste and sustain in terms of what we already have, I think that could be the biggest fight in terms of conserving the environment that we have today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At the back, the hands are increasing.
Thank you so much. My name is Colin Sonyango from ETCO. It's an organization in Kibera. My question goes to UN Habitat and the Nairobi Rivers Commission. Our interest is on Nairobi Dam and its tributaries. Question one: there is a project, the slum upgrading project, that is ongoing in Kibera. Is there any way that the Nairobi Rivers Commission and the UN Habitat can plan so that these two activities can happen concurrently? Because now, once they're done with the housing, like in an instance of Canaan Zone B, there are two rivers that are passing just within the project affected area. I'm not seeing any plan to restore the rivers that are there. So is there anything that is done towards that? The second question is, there are groups that are interested in coming up with designs. Is there a standard design for working on these rivers, or some organization or interested parties can come up with the design? And how are you going to work with these interested groups? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's all be as brief as they are.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Florence Otula. I come from Kajiado. We neighbor Nairobi, and I thank God that our county is also involved in this among the 5 counties. So my question is directed to Dr. Pamela. When you are given this job, were you given out of passion? Because to manage the environment is out of passion. You must feel the pain of seeing that around you, and then you can take action against it. And another one is to Mr. Silva from UN Habitat. You've watched Africa, you've been in Kenya, and you've said that UN Habitat, its head offices in Nairobi. You've watched Kibera grow to this level, Mathare slums. What action have you taken to help reduce the slums to the situation whereby we can have people live in proper housing, whereby the landlords are forced to make sure that before you let a tenant come in, there is a toilet. So what have you done? Because you've been in this country longer than all these years. What have you done to minimize the slums, or even to improve them, or help the government do the right thing? So Pamela, let passion drive you. We shall support you, because in our area we have 2 rivers. We have Kandisi and we have Mbagathi. Kandisi is dying because landlords are really doing harm to it. So help us sort out those issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next.
Morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas from TWI Fund, and TWI Fund basically exists to connect community change makers, such as some there from Mazingira, to the necessary resources and partners to support their work. So mine is just a comment. To some, you're doing quite a great job. I'd be happy to talk and have a conversation about how we can support Mazingira, because as you rightfully mentioned, their community change makers are doing such a great job, but there's a challenge to access to the resources and the support to be able to actualize the impact work that you're doing. Thank you.
Asante sana.
My name is Madheka. I'm the secretary for Buruburu. My question goes to Sam Dindi. One is, you did as per your presentation, you showed the areas like Gong and Kibra. How is your work structure plan to reach other residents? Because what you're doing is a good thing. What we want to hear from you is your work strategy plan in reaching other residents. For example, Parklands, Kamin Buruburu, Kileleshwa, all that. Number 2 is that, have you thought of partnering with Nairobi County? Because you understand that this program of El Nino. And then my last question is, do you have a backhoe? Backhoe means, you know, there's some drainages, normally a big blockage. Do you have a machine that's suck all? Yeah, that's my 3 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, asante sana.
Hi everyone, I'm Zinzi Kovai from University of Nairobi. Mr. Sila established the importance of data collection and science in pollution sources. I want to ask, is there strategies that UN Habitat and UNEP, together with the new commission now, Nairobi Rivers Commission, has put in place to encourage early career researchers to partake in such events or in such activities for restoration? Secondly, what do you think is the role of science and technology in these rehabilitation efforts?
Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Dennis Sekuri from the Social Justice Centers. My questions goes to the chairperson, Daktari. I understand we have been having many commissions created in this country. Yes, we have a commission to do with Nairobi Water, but we have mandated other entities, well-funded, like Ministry of Environment and the NEMA. What is that different you're going to do that they haven't done? Is it that they have failed and you in the government, you are not telling us? Because over time, the Ministry of Environment has been funded. It has structures, well-paid staff, but Nairobi Water is still being polluted. Yet comes a new government, creates a commission. What happens if we have another regime in the coming years? It does away with you, commission. What is this? What will be the sustainability? Yeah, that's my question.
Thank you very much. I want to go that side.
Hello everyone. My name is Angela Onyango. I come from Slums Going Green and Clean Kibra, and also working with Waste Speakers Association in Kenya. So my question goes to Sam Dindi. Coming from Kibra, I've been watching, we've been seeing what you guys are doing, but you talked about getting a lorry. As Waste Speakers, we've been doing the same job, but getting the collection from, getting the dumps from the rivers, taking them to the dump site, we've been using them cocotenis and also the wheelbarrows. So I can say that we have Waste Speakers who are willing to do the job, not for money, but they are always volunteering for the job. Yeah, so as for me, I can tell you that you can work closely with the Waste Speakers because we work on a daily basis to collect the waste and take them to the dump site. And we also have recycling centers in Kibra where we recycle the plastic polythene bags and make like waste bins. As the girl was saying that they need like waste bins around the Kilimani. So we can see on how we can work closely and make the waste bins be of importance. And also to the Kara Association, I would like to ask if you guys are working closely with the Waste Speakers also, where they collect waste from households and take them to the dump sites. Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana. I want us to pick all the questions so that when we give them a chance to respond, then we just tend towards closing. So we have done with this side, right? Okay.
The largest polluter. As Power 254, for us, I think we can be able to partner with Kara and even with some of the organization here. We have an online radio platform where we air different issues pertaining, and of course we discuss different issues pertaining different thematic areas. Probably you can be able to partner with that so that we can reach as many people as possible. And of course the other thing which probably you can be able to do together is to train champions of Nairobi River regeneration, and of course making sure that we are also creating different podcasts reaching to the youth. And not only to the youth, but again, making sure that we are also reaching to different human rights defenders. So I think those are some of the areas which you can be able to partner with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Banakuri.
Yeah, how are you?
Hi.
Okay, my name is Shadrach Kuria. I'm a resident of Manyani Estate, which fronts Waruku. Now, my concern is, we keep talking about clearing the Nairobi River. How long will it take? This is addressed to everyone. I mean, I came to Nairobi in 1963, and the place is polluted. We keep having commissions. We keep doing what? When is the time that Nairobi River will be clean and we maintain it that way for the future generation? It's just like the Nairobi National Park. If all the animals disappear, what is going to happen to that park? So let's be realistic. Let's get some timeline when we can do this thing. Now, the other thing is the issue of water harvesting. We are not doing it. There are a lot of buildings which are coming up. Yeah, like what the gentleman said about the water catchment. It is not just the aquifer, the first, second. Now we are in the third one. From here to Eastlands, the water is polluted. People should not even be drinking that borehole water. So can we be realistic and decide what are the milestones, what are the goals, what are the medium, short term, long term, so that each of us, when I go back to our members, I'm able to tell them, this is what the commission is doing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a few more this side and then we'll count. Just one. Please, 1 minute.
I'm Duncan from Jericho Residents Association. I think I see one area that is being left out of all this. Our key speakers have all mentioned about mindsets. And it's a reality that most of us, including them and me who is speaking, and most of you who are looking at me, none of us will walk out there and pick the first piece of paper we see on the ground. None of us will go and do anything about cleaning the environment because of our mindsets. Our mindsets are the product of our value systems. What have you learned? What have you grown up believing? What did your parents and your teachers make you plan for your future and take as your ambitions for the life you want to be? We had Wangari Maathai, God rest her soul in peace. She is one of the best known people in the world, and she did an exemplary work for the world. If you could follow her example, we wouldn't be talking of these issues. What am I saying? The problems of today were created 20, 30, 40 years ago when we were growing up, because the values that were put into our minds were about enriching, about getting houses, about cars. Nowadays, you see it's the internet. Nothing about taking care of Mother Earth, the environment, was put in our minds. We are now trying to solve the problems we created 30 years ago. And we are still creating problems because the people who will be addressing these issues 20, 30 years from now are not getting the right ideas. We need to start at the school level. I would suggest that even as we try to solve our problems, we also start creating the seed of future solution to this problem in our children. This forum should probably have something to do with a way of communicating with the Ministry of Education, so that our small children who are very malleable in the minds and who can adjust to new ideas, and like us, it's a lie to us that we will go and change tomorrow. But our small children can change. And if you smoke, Dad, and your small child tells you, Daddy, the teacher said you should not smoke in the house, I'm sure you'll never smoke in the house again. Those small children in the house can start changing us if we treat them the right thing in schools. So my suggestion would be, start with the teachers. Please, the education system should do something about the environment. Let us get our teachers to understand it and to put those values in our children, so that we shall be developing something in future that will help the country 10, 20 years from now. Otherwise, it will just be the way this thing, day after day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What's the microphone? Let's come this side, please, quickly.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Hajimi Otana from Komarok Resident Association. Mr. Ochieng, this is just a reminder. You remember, I mean, last time we spoke on 22nd when we were here during the UN Habitat. That was on 22nd of May, yeah? Just a point of observation. You're supposed to bring the Nairobi County government also on the platform, so that most of these issues that are being cropping up right now, you know, they are the ones who are supposed to answer us. Like you say, we mentioned the issue of Komarok, whereby you have those trucks. Malori kubwa kubwa ziko na takataka, I don't know where they're taking them from. Wanazichukua all the way, wanazipeleka, it's like they're going to dump them from Dandora. And you see all these discussions that are coming up right now, they're supposed to answer them for us. So kindly, just a point of observation, please bring them back next time on board, kindly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Devera from Komarok Residential Association. What I'll just emphasize is this item of mindset. We are so ignorant. Most of the Nairobi residents, and generally is spreading all over to the whole republic. There was a time I traveled to Rwanda, and when I landed at Kigali, at the Jomo Kenyatta here, I forgot to, in my briefcase, I forgot some items, so I decided just to go at the nearby outlet at the airport to buy a few items, and they were packed in a polythene. So I boarded the plane with the polythene. And when I landed at Kigali, I was holding that polythene with the items in. So when I took the taxi driver told me, I cannot drive you to town because you are holding a polythene. I'll be arrested. So for us to proceed, please just get the hockey package so that we can proceed. And I came to learn, those guys, you can't get any littered paper within Kigali town. And that thing, it ranges from the taxi drivers to students to everything. They see you misbehaving, to them that is a law. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to drive is, if we change our mindset. Zamani nilikuwa nasikia Nairobi ukipatikana unatupa karatasi, you'll be arrested on the spot. And we came to Nairobi with that fear. You could not throw anything. You would rather put it in the pocket until you reach home. But look at the generation. People are even urinating. They're not drunkard, but they just, so you look here and just urinate. People, watu wanakula vitu, even driving, unaona mtu lower the windscreen, anatupa. And then you ask yourself. So I think we have to change. Otherwise, we will spread this disease to our kids, and the commissions will come and go. Na watu wataendelea kukufa because of the dumping and the exclusion of the rivers in the Nairobi. So I want us to change, and whoever has said this progress must go down even to the school, that's very important. It is hard for us to change actually. Lakini watoto watabadilika.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana. What's the mic?
I'm Samson Kumenda. I'm the Secretary of Injiru Sub-County Peace Building. You know, the polluting Nairobi rivers, it is a conflict. Now, my question goes to our young guy, Director Sam Dendi. In fact, you are doing a very good job. But when I was seeing those people you are involved in cleaning up the waters around the rivers, I'm surprised I could not see you correcting those people who are queuing around the Nairobi rivers, doing brewing of janga. I didn't see them being gathered together as an indication of removing them from the rivers, because for sure, if you maybe could have horticulture blue, we managed to grab fish, the alligators, you could find that they are already drunk, isn't it? They are already drunk because those Changa people, they pollute Nairobi River. After getting beer, they pour the remains of beer there, the remains of that nini, Janga. Again, another question goes this association to our commissioner. Madam Commissioner, when you go back, please, we have done a lot of sensation to the community to retain Nairobi rivers, but now I want to send you, please, initiate security personnel who will be manning around the Nairobi rivers in order to stop unnecessary pollution of Nairobi River. Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Good morning. Thank you, Kara, for this forum. I'm Malasen Hamida Twahir from Kibra Mazingira Women Initiative and also the Nairobi Local Urban Forum Chair. And thank you, Dindi, for actually raising the flag high for Kibra. It means a lot is happening in Kibra. Very good things are happening in Kibra, and I will attest to that because we are also doing in our own end. One thing I would want to say is that, Madam Daktari, we are in a group where a few were taken for yesterday's meeting. We were not taken, all of us, and hopefully and optimistically, we will be engaged in that process, because one thing we have to realize, Kibra is very unique in its setting. because by the end of the day, the rivers traverse different villages, different wards. That means one organization or institution cannot work to restore and actually clean the river for that matter. So it means there has to be chain organizations and well coordinations and support, because they are doing in their own way, small ways, and to that level, and I believe a lot will happen. But by the end of the day, we have to take cognizance of the fact that rivers within Kibra actually head down to Nairobi Dam. And by the end of the day, even the borehole waters that we have, if Nairobi Dam will not be restored, there will be no water. And currently within Kenya, within Nairobi, as a result of climate change effects, we don't have water. So the water will continue being less, and the borehole water will be less. So by the end of the day, we'll have to think into ways of actually cleaning the rivers within Kibra, and then holistically look at restoration of Nairobi Dam, because by the end of the day, Nairobi Dam still opens up. It is not a block. Still the polluted and the dirty water actually goes downstream to Makueni and Athi. On issues of climate change, I want to say is that we need Nairobi Dam, because you made an emphasis on Nairobi Dam, and I'm making more emphasis on it, because it's one of the carbon sink that we have in Nairobi County and Metropolis. So if at all there is a lot that needs to be done within Nairobi River Commission, number one should be Nairobi Dam. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Caleb Ngala from Mathare Informal Settlement. I'm the youth leader of Mathare Sub-County. And I want to, first of all, to raise my concern on the presentation that was done with my brother, Silva. You are doing a very good work, but in Mathare, I just wish if you can put your foot on in Mathare. Because in Mathare, we have two rivers. We have Kitasuru River and Mathare River. And those two rivers, their status currently, we have even islands inside the rivers. And those islands are being brought with the waste that is coming from even outside Mathare. So we kindly wish if you can come in Mathare. Two, you know, in Mathare, along those two rivers, sir, we don't have public toilets. And this one I can confirm from the research that has been done and from the record that we have. A ward like Hospital Ward, with a population of 26,000 residents, only have 4 public toilets. The rest of the residents, they use 2 types of toilet. One, flying toilet. If you go across Mathare, ukiwa hata mahali kwa gorofa juu angalie juu Mathare, you will find a lot of polythene papers zimefungwa, na hizo polythene papers ni mavi za watu zenye zimerushwa juu. Once you are done, you throw it out. Mali tangukia ijulikani. 2, we have small structures toilet that directs their waste to the river. We don't have a proper toilet system, a waste management system in hizi vitu zinaweza enda. Many people are dying in Mathare, not because of these big diseases, but because of these diarrhea diseases, because of these small diseases that can be prevented. Can you at least, UN Habitat, can you at least help us to close this gap of public toilets in the informal settlement, as far as informal settlement upgrading is concerned? My brother, Sila, please, can you come in Mathare and help us fix our rivers? Pamela Olet, you have our support. We will not put a lot of pressures in you because this is a new commission, but you have our support. Do things right because we want to regain our rivers in Mathare. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, let's make it brief. We want to conclude this session.
Thank you, sir. Mine is direct to Ms. Ndindi on the issue of recycling of the waste. I think this is a very important item that you talked about, and because youth are very important when it comes to the issues of protecting our environment and restoration of the rivers. I think us in Komarok would like to get more from you, or now we can be able to work together with you to train our people on how this recycling can be done, because the youth, our youth are going to be very much happy to see on what that they can do, even to generate some small income from all that waste which is being taken to Dandora on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. What's the mic? Just pass, help pass it. Was a question? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm Rafael Odur, Head of Environmental Department from EDCO Kibra. Mine was just a suggestion. If we can adapt the act of canalizing some of the rivers, it will be much important there in Kibra, as this will help in speeding up the river flow, and also it will also ease the collection of solid waste, and also this one will also help in reducing the river erosion at the banks of those rivers. Kindly.
Thank you very much. I want to believe that we are done with the questions.
Good afternoon or good morning. My name is Sam Odhiambo from Nasra Gardens Residents Association. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As you were giving us feedback, I couldn't help myself from thinking that you are going to do a wonderful job. You have got a task ahead of you, but also showing you the pitfalls that you are likely to face as you deliver or discharge what you anticipate to discharge. Sustainable Waste Management Act of 2021. It's a document which is very well presented, but it's difficult to implement it. It has been, you hear the year is 2021, we are in 2023. The 3/4 of that garbage which are locking our rivers actually could be very easily sorted out if we sorted out issues outstanding on that act. And that now pertains to separation of waste. Sorry for that. Separation of waste. We so far we have tried to look at it as a residents association. The particulars of that act, that there should be material recovery facility which is placed somewhere, the residents should come up with it and build it. But we realize that again, when it comes to NCC, I don't know whether it's all over or only on our NCC. When it comes to NCC, they collaborate more with what they call the youths, vijana wa takataka, instead of residents associations. So that this management of waste is not anchored on the management of the estate, but it's left now aside to be implemented by youths who just carry it from one point to another, and all the driving factor is only money. So if you look at that, I believe your work will be lighter, because the separation of waste will be achieved. 3/4 of that takataka you see on our small rivers are actually bottles of Coca-Cola, which if the MRF was implemented, those things should be going back to Coca-Cola bottlers company, and they should not be there in the first place. Number 2, NCC is again presenting another challenge on sewer issues. Several rivers are usually downstream. We have sewer bursts which burst very frequently, and then they pour into our rivers. And the management of that, or the speed at which they respond when residents associations bring these issues, it takes forever for those to be sorted. It takes probably 4 or 5 days. What happens during the 4 or 5 days? All those waste goes to the river and now soils downstream. Number 3 is also legislation regarding planning of buildings. Quite a number of buildings, when they are planned, we have realized that some people, like the estate are coming from Nasra Gardens. It's a self-built. You buy your property on your name and you build your house according to your design, just subject to approvals. But what the majority of people, some people do, especially when it comes to our, I don't want to be, but I would say our Muslim brothers, the Orias, the Somalis, they like to lift their houses up and then pour that water on the roads. When we are discussing it with the planning department, the planning officer of our area, we realized that there is no specific, she was saying, okay, according to me, if the house is well done, my hands are tied. So legislation protecting you, entry of unnecessary or unwanted stuff into our rivers is something that we should really work keenly on, because if you work on it successfully, volume of your work will be down by more than 70%. Thank you very much on that.
Thank you very much. If there's no other question, I think we can get back to our speaker so that we can get the responses. I know there's been a question for at least touching on each of them. So in the order in which you made the presentation, so I'll ask Sam just to come and respond to some of the questions that have been directed to you so that we can go to the next speaker.
Thank you so much for the many questions that are very insightful. So the first question was on mindset. I think there's a bit of misunderstanding. I can give an example is that, for example, these young men and women, they could spend the whole day collecting plastic bottles, let's say the PET bottles, the ones for Coca-Cola. When they go to sell it from in the neighborhood, you may find a kilo of PET selling at 5 shillings. These people take it to recyclers and sell it at 23 shillings. So they gain 17 shillings from what they have sold. So what goes back to the young men and women? You cannot survive on 5 shillings. All of us understood how the cost of living has gone so high. For how long shall we volunteer? For how long shall our efforts be appreciated? It's not so much, but all you're asking for is just a bit of appreciation from the recyclers who are purchasing waste from us. Let that direct connection be between the youth who are collecting waste and the recyclers so that we can get a fair price for our efforts. The gentleman from TUI Fund, kindly let's get in touch after this. We shall discuss more. Buruburu Welfare Association, Residents Association, it's time we shall come back to you. Between the year 2017 and 2022, in our 5-year strategic plan, we have been able to work in Kikuyu, Kibera, Korogosho, and Donholm. And I believe 2023 to 2028, we shall embark on the new Residents Association in partnership with Kara. Kara will really direct us. We shall need your support in reaching out to this Residents Association. But I can also point out that we have been working closely with the BD Primary School in the information of their environment club. So I believe we can move from the school now to your Residents Association in bringing you up to our various programs, especially on solid waste management at household level, how to differentiate different types of plastics, and also harnessing different opportunities in the solid waste management value chain. But again, we can also exchange our contacts after this. Slum Going Green, this is a group that I'm very much informed and aware. We've worked with your chair, Gesore, since 2017. We've trained him on river restoration. We've trained him on so much, and we worked with the group. Secondly, on the waste that has not yet been picked is on non-recyclable. As you understand, there's recyclable waste and non-recyclable waste. Non-recyclable waste like the wet waste, the things like Pampas et al., those are the things that are supposed to go to Dandora, but the ones that can be recyclable are always picked and sold and taken for recycling. But again, we are very much willing to continue working with you and also the Waste Pickers Association that we are very much aware. We can still exchange contacts after this. Power 254, we didn't have enough time to discuss, but we have been working very closely with the youth. An example is of an artist from Kibera called Lawrence Ochieng. During the river restoration program, we discovered he's a musician, and an organization, we supported him with funds to go and record his music in a studio and also do the video. And the video right now, it won an award in Netherlands, and Lawrence right now is going to, I think in December or January next year, he'll be going to Netherlands again to perform the song that we wrote for him and supported him. So we are working very closely with the youth. Shadrach Kuria, when will the river be clean? I agree with you. We need to have timelines. And as Dr. has said, the elaborate plan is on. And so I think going forward, when they share the action plan, is when we shall know the timelines that are in place, and what each of us is supposed to do. The gentleman from Jericho School Environment Program it's very important. Mindset change needs to begin from the bottom, going upwards. For the last 6 years, we have worked with at least 50 primary schools and universities and secondary schools from across Kenya. And in each of our programs, we usually make sure we have got a school involved in it, because it's easier to mold the kids compared to the parents. And the kids usually take the messages at home, informing them the teacher. We have been taught about how we are supposed to restore our rivers, how we are supposed to manage the waste, and parents usually take it positively. So we just need to upscale our work to reach out to more schools. Komarok Residents Association, mindset still, we need to change our mindset. You cannot protect what you don't know, and it's never too late. If Rwanda is doing it, Rwanda started enforcing the ban of plastics after the 1994 genocide. That is just very recent. So for us, it's not yet late. I believe if the will is there to get things done, then that change that we desire can start happening from now. And change begins with us. Let it start from our home. Let us not wait for a policeman or anyone to come and cane us to do something. Let us begin that change from our homes. When we live here, when you go back home, let us start driving that change. Mr. Kumenda, on bring of Changa, it's a very difficult and security issues. Handling brewers of Changa in Mathare and in Kibera is not an easy task. Whenever we encounter them, we've always been reporting them to the Minister of Interior, the DCC, and the chiefs. Going to them head on puts our lives at risk, because they're not easy people to handle. So I think the best thing to do, Madam Pamela will be able to liaise with the Minister of Interior on how to handle the Changa brewers, especially in Mathare. There are very, very many. Hamida, yeah, I understand Kibra is unique. When you go to how you handle Kianda or how you handle Lindi are very different areas. Land ownership in Kianda and land ownership in Lindi is quite different. So how you handle these two areas, it needs a bit of understanding and to understand the different communities there. How you handle the Nubians and how you handle the other communities is also unique. So you need to come up with a very tailor-made solutions in addressing the various environmental challenges in the area. Addressing Nairobi Dam, going to Nairobi Dam and evacuating the waste from Nairobi Dam is not a solution. The solution is we need to address this waste from the source. How do you address the liquid waste that is flowing into Nairobi Dam? How do you make sure that all the toilets are directed into the sewer, or the grey water does not flow into the river? So Kibra needs a regeneration, a fiscal planning. When that happens, then we shall be sure of the quality of water that will be going into Nairobi River. But as the status quo is, it will be a bit of challenge, which I believe Madam Pamela will take it positively on how to handle it well. Caleb, let us exchange our contacts after this, and we shall be glad to come and start working with you in Mathare. Mr. Kamul, yes, let us get in touch with you. We shall be ready to come and train your youths on how to handle different types of waste. Mr. Raphael, canalizing of River Motoine and River Ngong in Kibra is not a solution as per se, because the moment you canalize that water, then you'll have killed the biological diversity in that river. There will be no fish, there will be no insects, because the water will be flowing so fast. And when the water flows so fast, it will impact Nairobi Dam. Nairobi Dam will get so full so fast, and it may burst. And when it bursts, the flow from that dam will definitely affect people in Mukuru, Donholm, going downstream. We shall have a disaster. So canalizing is a good solution, but it has a very negative impact, and it needs a bit of more research. I think the best what we can do right now, let us try as much as possible to manage our waste from the source. Let us encourage regeneration of our informal settlements. clear urban planning, education, so that people understand. So when all that fails is when maybe we can start thinking of canalizing, but it's something that we can research on. Mr. Saab from Nasra, I agree with you. The Sustainable Solid Waste Management Act 2022 has got very good provisions. Like, for example, it talks of management of waste at the source. It talks of establishment of MRF. It has got very many provisions, but now I think now the task is on implementing this act. And I believe you can all work together. We can visit you and see how best your members can start understanding this act. It's not a difficult act. If you break it down, it's not a difficult act that I believe each one of us can implement at a household level. Thank you.
Thank you very much for various questions. I will address just few, knowing that others has been already covered by interventions. The connection between Nairobi River and slum upgrading program, this is obvious. I'm sure Pamela will touch on that because we have a representative of the State Department of Housing and the KISI program. It is more about alignment and coordination on that. On the design side, yes, we have a design studio, UN Habitat. My colleague is here, Charles and Emmanuel. They can exchange contact to see how best we can interact, and support on the design. Yeah, the question of Kibera and informal settlement in Matare and the existence of UN Habitat, just to let you know that we have been advising the government for many years on this particular matter. And we look at all those housing programs, 20 years and 50 years back, you will see the mark of UN Habitat. And we are continuing engaging with the government and advising. But as mentioned by others, the whole issue is prevention, how we prevent. And when we talk about prevention, it is different element. One element is about planning, to make sure we have a well-established structured planning. And if you look at, for example, today, 47 counties, only 8 has a spatial development framework, which means that the city will mushroom without any guidance, without any requirement in terms of setting up, function for space, and is fundamental. The second part of it as well, when it comes to informal settlement, is the socio-economic dimension, and make sure as well, there's inclusion, equality, and access to job for everyone, because at the end of the day, it's more about accessing to opportunity. But at the same time, I feel these issues as an African, as a shared responsibility, as we have been talking about changing mindset. And most of the time, we have seen a lot of scenario here where there's will to address this issue. But when you give people house, they sell it or rent it back and go back to slums. And I witnessed it myself here for the short time I've been here. But which means that let's think about both sides, from government side, from stakeholder side, what approach and what behavior do you want to have to address the whole, urban challenge we are talking about. At the end of the day, I think we need to share responsibility. The question from my sister from university, I think it's welcome. We have an internship program in UN Habitat, and mainly I think Kenya has more chance and accessing, on this internship. Charles can give you more information. But the role of ITC and technology is fundamental, because when you talk about innovation, it's about, mainstreaming, but also harnessing the value of ITC today when it comes to data collection, when it comes to solution-oriented and others. So lastly, on Matare point here, I hear you. We have been working in Matare on various subject matter, on youth and others. This area, I hear you, so we look at, moving forward from our partnership, what is possible, but it's not granted, it's just some idea we got from there. Just want to thank everyone for this valuable contribution, and we look forward to working together. Thank you very much. I have to leave now. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sio. In general, I just want to say that most of the issues we are asking here, Sio, if we interact with the action plan, some of these questions we will not ask. Because in the action plan, it is all clearly the roles divided. Who is supposed to provide the garbage bins? Who is supposed to provide the decentralized treatment centers? So as a commission, we have developed this jointly with our key stakeholders, mapping in resources that they have, even before we go to external partners for resourcing. So there's a lot of resource that is existing within, especially within government institutions. So this has all been mapped and linked to an activity. So once we interact with the action plan, I think we will be more updated on how we are expected to interact or to plan our activities within the river basin. There is this issue of Omar is left. ETCO was special because I do remember we have interacted with this team, and I had requested UN Habitat to support the initiative. My intention was not about the El Nino, but for us to start practicing doing things together. When Collins, I want to believe the program is still on, and bring other people. The statement I want to make to all of us is, as a commission, we know that communities are not able to buy these machines. I think there's somebody who was talking about the unclogging machines. We are partnering with institutions like NYS, KDF, prisons, those who have the machinery. So we can be able to link you when you organize your programs. We link you with them to provide these machineries. Once your job is done, then we recover them. That is a role the Commission is actually working on now, meeting these stakeholders just to support you in the activities, especially unclogging of the river, because the rivers must flow. That is our slogan for now. And I also want us to take note that the action plan has been developed jointly because we must have a shared vision. I'm answering the question that was asking that we have NEMA, we have Ministry of Environment. We must have a shared vision. And the only way to have a shared vision is to develop the delivery framework together, so that what we're implementing is one framework, whether you're in the environment. Actually, when we are talking about catchment protection, we are supporting what the Ministry of Environment is doing on catchment areas in protecting our water towers. But we have included there, and the stakeholders are identified within the action plan. They include the ministries, they include NEMA and all others. But it has been realized by all of us that for us to do a proper coordination, we need to review the legislation, I think as someone was proposing, but especially anchoring the Nairobi Rivers Commission in its perspective. As it is now, it may not be very effective, and already a team is in place just to look at the legislation on how this anchoring can be done for proper coordination. I think I'll jump on what others have said, but I think even though Umar has touched on the university, I want to confirm that we have 2 commissioners from the academia, and that is a role they need to play in nurturing careers, and this I will take forward. Social justice, what I'm saying in the shared vision is going to solve all these issues of the silo approach of ministry, state agencies, because we have a joint approach, we have mapped their resources, the vision is one, that means it is going to be a joint implementation, and we expect that to reduce most of the issues. I take note of the existence of communication agencies like online radios, the ghetto radios. We will need all of you in changing the mindset, and I just appreciate. Schools, I want to say that as additional to what Sam is saying, NRC is partnering with the Rotary clubs. We have about 25 schools in Nairobi alone in the river basin, and the suggestions you have brought forward, we are going to put together with the Rotary Club in helping our children develop that correct culture that may not even require legislation if you have a proper culture inculcated in our youth. So about the strategy, if you interact with the action plan, you will realize that we have immediate, short-term and long-term activities. So that has already been done. And just want to confirm that what we are doing today is part of what is in immediate actions, like compliance issues, partnerships, which is what we are doing today, creating partnerships, developing coordination structures is part of our discussion today. The talk on Nairobi Dam, we have also prioritized those as immediate. The catalytic projects I was mentioning, those are immediate issues we need to look at, both in sanitation and pollution. So if you interact, I want to say that resource mobilization, which we just discussed 2 weeks ago, and part of what we are doing today, are immediate things we need to put together to support the people who are already in the river basin. That includes, I think, the comment that was made on sustaining what we have now. So we need to take note of all that, and I think I just ask that we'll get everybody, maybe through other forums organized, to interact with the action plan in its entirety, so that we are very clear on the roadmap we have for the river regeneration. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, Madam Chair, for the responses and for clarifying some of the issues that have been raised here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've had a very interactive session. You've had response from our speakers, and of course, I hope you are satisfied. If not, we can take a few minutes during the tea session just to interact with them directly, and if you have a specific issue, I'm sure they'll be happy to respond to directly to you. As we started the session, we said that we just wanted to have a conversation and get to understand how we can all work or build synergy on this conversation around Nairobi River Basin's protection and restoration. I trust that we've all had something to take home. I think the challenge is in all of us to do something at individual level, at community level, in our neighborhoods, in our county, and of course at national level. It starts with an individual, it starts with you and me, and then we build it up to other levels. So moving forward, you've clearly heard that there's already a comprehensive action plan in place by the Nairobi River Commission. We will have had a chance to look at it. Of course, we'll try and see if we can break it down and share key points on that action plan to make you understand where this is heading, where the Commission is heading, and the plans that they have in place. But we are also very keen to build a partnership with the Commission that will enable us to have more of such activities, because we have all agreed that it must start from education, it must start from information, so that we become sensitive to what we need to do and how we need to do it. So moving forward, I can see an opportunity for CARA and the Commission, and of course the other organization, actively getting into a lot of sensitization forums, awareness creation and education, and working with the community leaders to champion initiatives that will then lead into the protection and restoration of our rivers. Waste management is very key, and I want to agree it has to start at source. It has to start in your kitchen, in your house, and then move to the next level. We are currently doing a pilot as CARA. We are calling it model estate as far as waste management is concerned. And we are going to work in a few estates just to pilot the circular economy approach to waste management. The new law requires that you must start separating waste right from your household, and then you organize yourself at community level to ensure that the facilities are in place to go to the next levels. So we are running a pilot just to prepare for proper rollout of the law, and we'll be giving more communication on that, and giving guidance on how we are going to collaborate in that regard. Because if you don't manage our waste at source, then the waste will end up somewhere, and this somewhere can be the river, and it's the river we are trying to protect. So ladies and gentlemen, those are some of the things that I've picked in terms of how we are going to progress forward. But as always, feel free to share with us your ideas. Feel free to share with us your plans that you want to implement. We might not have the resources, but we might share the same with people who can come on board to support, so that you are able to effectively roll out some of these good ideas that we have. And lastly, just to re-emphasize for those who came in a bit late about the awards that we are having at the end of this year, the Resident Association's Excellence Awards. We want to celebrate you. We want to recognize the work you are doing. We want to showcase your work to other people so that they can learn from that. And that's why we have the Resident Association's Excellence Awards taking place. The deadline for making entries is this Friday. So please make sure you make your entry if you are yet to do that. And then we'll be able to have a session where we'll award the winners and also showcase the work that others are doing. So please, we encourage you to make your entries before the deadline, so that we can then be able to celebrate and recognize the work that is being done at our neighborhoods. So with those very few and very many remarks, I want us to come to a close of this session, and I want to thank all of you very much for, first of all, showing up for this session, sitting through up to this point, and participating in this session through your questions, through your comments, through sharing your ideas, because in the absence of that, then we could not have had this forum. So I want to thank all of you very much for the support, for your participation, and we look forward to continue hosting you, because as you know, as CARA, we have a number of these platforms, and the idea is to educate and to inform, so that you can be able to make responsible choices and decisions. We thank our partners, Hansdale Foundation. We thank our speakers, Sam, Daktari in absentia, and Omar from UN Habitat, for just coming to share with us your thoughts on this subject of discussion. And of course, our friends from the media, from the Governing Council, everyone who is here. Asanteni sana for creating time for this conversation. So I'm going to request somebody to close for us with a word of prayer, so that we can have a cup of tea and some snacks as we continue interacting and comparing notes. So thank you very much. Who will close for us that word of prayer? You can come up and bell as we pray for tea and snacks that are going to have also. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let us all be upstanding as we do our final prayer in this session today. Let us all pray. Our Heavenly Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we want to thank you. We want to bless your name. We thank you, Lord, because of the wisdom that God you have given to us in this session today. We want to thank you, Lord, for every idea, for every suggestion, and even for the many things that God we have been able to discuss here today. Heavenly Father, your word said that no one can have anything except it be given to him by the Lord. And we pray, Almighty God, in the name of Jesus Christ, that all these things, good things, the Lord, which we plan to do, even my Father, even in protecting our rivers, we pray that God, we are going to give and each one of us, oh Father, and enable us, oh my Father, to be able to do that which, my God, we have decided to do in this meeting today. We bless your holy name and we worship you, Father. Even Lord, for the refreshment ahead of us, we bless it in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, receive all the praise. We continue, Father, even to pray for CARA, the leadership of Father, even for this engagement that God, they continue to organize for us, oh Father. We pray that God, you continue to work with them, oh Lord. And again, we commit all the resident associations, this place, in your able hands, oh Father, the many challenges that God they are facing, that God, we are going to help them, oh Father, to overcome them. We give you praise, we worship
you and we magnify thy name. For in Jesus' mighty name we are prayed. Amen. Thank you. God bless you.